Imagine standing on a balcony overlooking the Bosphorus. The air is thick with the scent of salt and ancient stone, and a steady, rhythmic rain is beginning to fall, blurring the line between the European and Asian shores. There is a specific kind of melancholy that comes with watching rain hit the water of a strait that has seen the rise and fall of civilizations. For 600 years, this narrow stretch of water was the heartbeat of one of the most powerful entities to ever exist, the Ottoman Empire. But as you watch the gray mist roll in, you have to wonder, how does a superpower that once made the world tremble simply fade away? Is it always about wars and economics, or is there a deeper psychological decay that starts from within? Today, we aren't just looking at dates and maps. We are diving into the collective psyche of an empire that lived by the sword and died in a gilded cage. Stay with me, because by the end of this journey, you'll see that the story of the Ottomans isn't just history. It's a mirror for our own ambitions and the invisible walls we build around ourselves. To understand the Ottoman soul, we have to start with a dream. Not a metaphorical dream, but a literal one. Legend says that Osman, the founder of the dynasty, dreamed of a great tree growing from his chest, its branches covering the world. This wasn't just a claim to land, it was a psychological anchor. It gave a small band of nomadic warriors a sense of destiny. When you believe your path is divinely ordained, your capacity for risk becomes infinite. This is the psychology of the frontier. The early Ottomans were defined by Gaza, the spirit of the holy warrior. They were hungry, adaptable, and possessed a meritocratic edge that the tired, stagnant empires around them lacked. They didn't care where you came from, they cared what you could do. It's a powerful mindset that fuels any startup, whether it's a tech company today or a sultanate in the 1300s. But success is a double-edged sword. As the tree from Osman's dream grew, its roots began to crack the very foundation it was built upon. Close your eyes for a moment and listen to that rain. It's been falling on these same stones since 1453, the year everything changed. Imagine being Mehmed II, a 21-year-old sultan obsessed with the impossible. Constantinople was the psychological fortress of the world. It had stood for 1,000 years. To the rest of the world, it was invincible. To Mehmed, it was a psychological barrier he had to break to prove he was more than just a shadow of his father. Think about the sheer audacity of moving ships over land on greased logs to bypass the Byzantine chain across the Golden Horn. That wasn't just military strategy, it was a psychological masterstroke. It told the defenders that the laws of nature didn't apply to the Ottomans. When the city finally fell, the Ottoman psyche shifted. They were no longer the outsiders banging on the door, they were the masters of the house. And this is where the first cracks of the paradox of success began to appear. When you become the establishment, you stop being the disruptor. You start worrying about keeping what you have instead of reaching for what you don't. As the empire reached its zenith under Suleiman the Magnificent, the Bosphorus became a golden mirror of Ottoman glory. But look closer at the palace life during this golden age. We often think of absolute power as the ultimate freedom, but psychologically, it's a prison. Suleiman was known as the lawgiver, but his private life was a storm of paranoia and grief. He executed his own son, Mustafa, because of whispers and court intrigue. Imagine the psychological toll of a system where your own children are your greatest political rivals. This wasn't just a family tragedy, it was the beginning of an institutional neurosis. The empire began to value loyalty over competence and silence over truth. The rain that falls on the Topkapi Palace today carries the echoes of that silence. We often find ourselves in similar positions in our own lives, achieving the very thing we thought would make us happy, only to find that the pressure of maintaining it is suffocating. Now we need to talk about the most haunting part of this story, the Kafes, or the cage. For the first few centuries, Ottoman succession was a literal survival of the fittest. Sultans would execute their brothers to ensure stability. It was brutal, yes, but it ensured the man on the throne was hardened and experienced. However, in the early 1600s, they changed the rules. Instead of killing the princes, they locked them away in the cage, a luxurious suite of rooms within the palace. Imagine spending 30, 40, or even 50 years in total isolation, never seeing the outside world, never speaking to anyone but a few servants, knowing that at any moment, the door could open and you could either be made the most powerful man on earth or be strangled to death. What does that do to a human mind? When these princes finally took the throne, many were understandably broken. They were paranoid, indecisive, and completely detached from reality. The empire was being led by men who had been psychologically shattered by the very system meant to protect them. This is the ultimate pattern interrupt in the Ottoman story. The transition from the warrior sultan to the prisoner sultan changed the DNA of the state. Let the sound of the rain remind you of the passage of time. By the 18th and 19th centuries, the Ottoman Empire was known as the sick man of Europe. But why didn't it just collapse? This is where the psychology of nostalgia comes in. The Ottomans were obsessed with their past glory. They spent decades trying to reform, trying to westernize, but they were constantly held back by a collective identity crisis. They wanted the power of the modern world without losing the soul of the old one. It's a struggle we all face when we try to reinvent ourselves. We cling to old habits even when we know they no longer serve us. The Bosphorus was no longer a highway for conquest. It was a path for foreign creditors and diplomats to slowly peel away the empire's sovereignty. The Ottoman elite retreated into a world of hyper-luxury, building magnificent palaces like Dolmabahce, structures of immense beauty that the empire couldn't actually afford. It was a psychological defense mechanism. If we look powerful, maybe we still are. Think about the weight of 600 years. That's longer than most modern nations have even existed. The end didn't come with a bang, but with a long, agonizing sigh. World War I was the final blow, a desperate gamble to regain relevance that ended in total disintegration. But even as the empire fell, a new identity was being forged in the rain-slicked streets of Istanbul and the dusty plains of Anatolia. The transition from empire to republic was a psychological rebirth led by Mustafa Kemal Ataturk. He did what the late sultans couldn't. He looked at the ruins and decided to build something entirely new, rather than trying to fix a broken dream. He understood that to move forward, you have to let go of the ghost of who you used to be. It's a harsh lesson, but a necessary one. As the rain begins to let up over the Bosphorus, look at the lights of the modern city reflecting on the water. The Ottoman Empire is gone, but its presence is felt in every stone and every cup of tea shared in the shadow of a minaret. The story of the Ottomans teaches us that empires and people don't just fall because of external enemies. They fall when they lose their psychological flexibility. They fall when they trade their hunger for comfort and their curiosity for paranoia. They fall when the cage they built to keep themselves safe ends up becoming their world. But the Bosphorus keeps flowing. It doesn't care about the names of the kings or the borders on a map. It only cares about the constant motion of the water. We spend so much of our lives building our own empires, our careers, our reputations, our digital footprints. We worry about our legacy and our security. But the rain on the Bosphorus tells us that nothing is permanent. And perhaps that's the most liberating thought of all. If you found peace in this journey through the rain and the ruins, I want to hear from you. Which part of the Ottoman story resonated with you the most? Was it the ambition of the rise or the tragedy of the cage? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to explore more stories where history meets the human psyche, make sure to subscribe and turn on the bell. There are many more layers to peel back, many more rains to watch, and many more lessons to learn from the ghosts of the past. Until next time, take a moment to look at the water, listen to the rain, and remember that even the greatest empires are just a single chapter in a much longer book. Thank you for watching.